Sundry's Fiber podcast. We're on episode 16.
I was trying to count. We do the first one. We do our floss tube, and I immediately forget what number we're on.
It's okay. That's okay to immediately forget. So we are here to talk to you about fiber, knitting, and some crochet awesomeness.
Yeah, we're trying some new stuff. Oh, shoot, I forgot to get my... Oh, I'll talk about it. We're obviously so prepared every week we do this.
Eventually we'll have everything we need in here, right?
Yes. Slowly.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
So I'm Devynn.
I'm Lauren.
I can be found on Instagram as Devynn_no_loose_ends.
And I'm Lauren Upstitching.
Yay!
We did it! Intro's done. That's the most awkward part.
It is. We got this.
We got it.
So I'm going to refer you guys to our floss tube episode where we talked about some exciting news. So you
because
should definitely...
Devynn's getting married.
Oh, I was going to make them watch it.
Well, they have to know because we're going to talk about projects.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. So, yes, over this past weekend, my boyfriend proposed, and I'm very excited. We are probably going to get married from a year from now. And we're working on planning a wedding. It's only been 8 days, so I have nothing figured out. No. Don't ask me questions.
Good God.
Whenever people are like, well, when are you doing it? What are you doing for this? What are you doing? Have you thought about this? And I'm like, God, no, I haven't thought about any of that. Like, it's been 7 days.
Yeah. Every person you tell's got another thing. They're like, by the way, it's very important that you do X.
But the event is going to be exciting.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So, and there's no ring to show you guys, but there's one being ordered that is super sentimental. So Jason and I are designing, working with an artist in Massachusetts, and we're designing our ring from sea glass from our trips to Maine.
That is adorable.
And it's super cute. It's going to be sea glass, which is bluish, and white sapphires and sterling silver. It's gonna be so cute.
It's gonna be beautiful.
And
it's very you. It's very you guys.
Very me. I am so much more like, I don't care for the fancy stuff. I care for the sentimental. Like that is all.
Well, and like, not only is it sentimental that it's like sea glass that you guys found on your trips, but also like the more natural elements and not that diamonds aren't natural, but they've got such a stigma.
Yeah.
And like this is so much more boho
earthy.
Yeah, we're gonna start a commune.
That's me. Whatever.
You've waffled back and forth between getting married in a park and not, and married in a park and not.
Oh yeah.
In her 8 days.
Okay, like if we were to talk about perfect dreams, Lauren.
Yeah.
Perfect dreams would be like the little benches, like the wood log bench seats, and every single one of those has like little flowers at the end, and like there's this beautiful archway in the woods. But like the reality is, that's gonna be insanely expensive, and for one day,
we could do it.
We could do it
now. Would I guarantee that your beautiful forest wedding would not be rained out? No.
Yeah,
that's kind of the problem.
That's kind of
the thing. More the problem.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know.
Would your dad fell logs and make benches for you? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Probably between him, Sean, and JR, we could get them all roped in.
Yeah. Would they carve a wooden archway for you? Absolutely. Would I crochet little pillows for each little log? Absolutely. Oh it would happen. We would do it.
So the wedding's now 5 years from now, so all of that can happen.
But yeah, exactly. It's like, do you want to get married quickly, cheaply, or beautifully? You can have 2 of the 3. You can have cheap and beautiful. You can have cheap and quick. You can have quick and beautiful. That's the only things you can have.
I think we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, 8 days in.
I just didn't even know what to say. I'm like,
just like, it's too much for my
it's too
your
much.
Overloaded brain.
I am overloaded because in 8 days we've had to tell both of our like entire families and friend groups, and I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe we shouldn't have told people right away.
And leading up to that, you guys were like, Jason was turning 40. You guys are kind of just talking about your life together.
Mm-hmm.
So that was already like big conversations going on. Yeah, it's been a bit of an explosive month for you.
It's been a lot to process, and I think I just need to go on like a little mini vacation or something so I can just get away and just, But that's what the honeymoon's for, right?
So they say.
We shall see. Anyway, so we're here to talk to you guys about knitting, not wedding stuff. We're not a wedding podcast.
We're not, but we're going to be talking about some wedding stuff because you're already started a wedding craft.
Maybe.
And I mean, I'm gonna be, so it's gonna be involved.
It is gonna be involved. But we will try not to overwhelm you guys with wedding talk. That's my hope.
That's the hope. So I have a whip and a new start.
I have a new start and a whip and 2 whips. I have 2 whips.
2 whips and a new start?
Yeah. And I have a project update.
All right. You want to start with your project update?
Yeah. I'll start with that one. So, last episode, at the tail end, in the dark, if you guys watched that, if you stuck with us through the power outage, I showed the floor shawl by Spastrico. I've now frogged that shawl. I was working on making more baubles, and I wasn't liking how my baubles were coming out, and I even did some crochet baubles, and they were coming out better than the knitted ones. But the whole reason my baubles aren't coming out as good as I want is because my gauge on that was so loosey-goosey. And it was because I just started it on the whim, and I just was relaxed in knitting on it. I wasn't careful about anything, and it's not really a project that gauge is super important to. But when I was trying to build a foundation for a bauble, it was so loosey-goosey that it wasn't bobbling as well as I wanted it to. And so I frogged the whole thing because I was very disappointed in all of my baubles. Yeah. I have made things with really awesome baubles, but this particular project, my gauge was, my one stitch that I'm trying to bauble in when I was crochet bobbling, the stitch ended up being like this tall, and I'm like, the crap is going on. It's because my gauge is so...
Yeah, you need for baubles in crochet, you need like a good solid foundation and then a good solid top to your baubles as well. To like pull everything tight at the top.
Yeah.
And make it
and that's pop. But I mean, maybe I could have just gone back one row, but I just decided
you just weren't feeling it.
I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. I wanted it to be a little bit tighter. So I think I was knitting it on size 8s. So I'll be one day re-knitting that. Because I do like that pattern. Yeah. And I do like the yarn I picked for it. I think they're great. Everything's great about
I
that.
love the colors together.
So I think I'll re-knit that a size down. But I have some other things on the plate now.
As you do. As you do.
That's my project update.
Well, sometimes you have to do that. You have to just like revisit a project in a little while.
Yeah, I'm doing that a lot lately. If I can waffle on something, I think I'm gonna do it. I am such a waffler.
It's a true story. I'm not gonna. Well, I said, because I have a cousin that does the exact same thing, and I recently talked to him, and he's finally, my awesome cousin Jenner is moving to Atlanta to pursue a career down there, but it was years of planning to do something, and nothing could be executed until the plan was perfect. And I'm a planner. I totally get that. But sometimes you can plan so long that you never actually get to the thing. Mm-hmm. And once I saw him doing that, I was like, oh, every once in a while, Devynn can really fall into that trap. And then we talked about it. But you're much better at recognizing you're doing it.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can take some action steps. Getting married is a big one.
Getting married is a big one. Well, I mean, gotta love Jason, because he's just like, I'm taking this plan out of your hands. Here I go on the knee. And it's like, oh, here we are. Okay.
Here we are.
Anyway. But it's also one of your, like we're talking about it like it's a thing, like, oh, it's so negative. You don't just jump into things. But, like, it's a good trait to have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. It can be crippling, but it can also be advantageous because it has saved me from making some terrible decisions.
Not that starting a shawl is going to affect your whole life,
No.
but like...
No.
Anyway,
we don't
what
need
you
to
got?
get deep on this project. I don't know what we're doing.
We're going through some life stuff, and it's bound to affect our philosophies. Anyway, this is now knitting, crochet, and philosophy.
That's what we'll call this. Philosophy with the girls. Okay, so what do you have? Because I talked about my project update.
Okay, do we do a whip update?
Sure.
Look at this. We're making progress. So this is the Sum of Its Parts pullover by Sarah Wright, or I Need It Crochet. And I'm going to, real quick, this is a little hard to do sitting down and with these giant earrings on, but I'm going to throw this over real quick because it's coming out so cute.
It is really cute. And when you look at this pattern online, like some of the people who've crocheted this, oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
It's so pretty. And so it is fitting just right as it comes down my shoulders and kind of points towards
it is very
sleeves.
Springy.
And yeah, this is I'm crocheting this with Lion brand Coboo, which is a cotton nylon blend, cotton bamboo blend, and Coboo. And it is just, I really love her. It's got some little puff stitches. It's got some crossed crochets to keep it kind of interesting. And I am on, you can kind of see here, here's my little stitch marker. There's where I was last time. So I'm making like significant progress. I stayed up way late last night just because I was in the mood to work on this. And I stayed up listening to politics podcasts because that's
what you do when you're trying to relax.
That's what I was in the mood for last night. And so I have, I'm on row, I think 26 or 27 of 33. And then this big kind of like middle poncho section will be done. But then I start edging and adding to the sides and then making the sleeves. So that will be...
It is going so well.
It's going very quick. I did a whole another skein of yarn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's coming very quickly. I'm super happy with it. And I feel like it's... her pattern is so good. Because, like, I kept saying, like, okay, when do we get to the point where we size? Like, this is not, it's not like, crochet so many stitches per size. It's just go with this shape. And I'm like, when are we going to get to that? And then I read down into the pattern, and the way she's sizing it makes so much sense for the type of sweater she's building. So it's a really nice pattern. It's free on her blog right now. I bought it on Ravelry for, I think it's $7. And she gives so much amazing crochet patterns away for free on her blog. And I'm like,
I need to check her blog out.
You do. She does some
I put it in our show notes last week.
She does some...
That's how I was looking at other people who made this.
She just did a long tunic, a short sleeve tunic that's so cute. It's just adorable. And it's free because she's amazing. So that's where I am with this. It's coming along great. It's also the soft.
It is very soft.
It's very soft, and it's very, like you said, it's great for spring or summer. It's going to be light material. So I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm excited for you. Another wearable crochet.
I'm doing it.
I love that you're diving into that because like when you look for crochet podcasts, I think that is something that I find harder to see. A lot of people are crocheting all kinds of things, but I feel like the garments aren't as well represented. Yeah.
Well, I think it's much like stylish crochet garments are newer. It's you see more crochet designers now. You see more people doing either trying to replicate things that have been a staple of knit for a really long time, or coming up with brand new ways to do interesting things. With all the, crochet has benefits over knitting. Knitting has benefits over crochet. And so trying to find what works best for each medium and design stuff for it is, I think crochet is relatively new. I think maybe 5 years of people actually being like, no, I'm going to do more than just a granny square. Yeah. And, or a blanket or a arumagumi or the little stuffies is like incredibly popular in crochet because you can get that structure with crochet much more easily. But taking that and saying, okay, we can do all kinds of structural stuff. What can we do with that in garment making hoods, making things? You know, that's where I think it excels. I think also we're at things like social media has made it easier to, because crochet is huge in Japan and Korea. And you're now meeting people who have been doing this for decades. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. The world is cool.
The world is cool.
The world is cool and the craftiness is cool and yay.
I am so excited for it.
Anyway,
I think your project's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun. What do you got?
I have a weep.
A weep. Oh man, this sucker's growing.
It's growing.
Yeah.
I have all kinds of, I just realized I must have laid this down in my cross stitch floss trash pile. Because I don't save my orts like you do.
I'm going to have so many jars of orts back here.
But, yeah, so this is The Birds of a Feather. This is by Andrea Mowry.
Let's do sideways because it looks so
It does
pretty.
look really good sideways.
And
I love how airy it feels. And
this just makes, every time we turn it sideways, it makes me think of like a mermaid's tail or something.
Yeah.
Like it's so flowy and beautiful.
it is. Well, this color is called Siren Song.
Oh, there you go. How perfect.
The green. And the, so this has yarn from two different dyers. The white and gray, or the white and black, are from Lichen and Lace. It's Silver Fox. This is Silver Fox. This is Soot. And then this green is from Pandia's Jewels. And it's Siren Song. And it is so pretty. It is a sequin, glitter, lace mohair yarn that is just absolutely gorgeous in the Birds of a Feather shawl.
It is. It's beautiful.
And I mean, if you guys could just feel how light this thing is.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be warm, but it is going to be so light and delicate.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. These colors are definitely not, my typical.
They're not.
So I'm not sure when I'll be wearing it. I do have a dress picked out to wear with it at least once or twice. But like I said, this isn't my standard, so.
Yeah, your standard is much more pink, but I can also see you wearing this. Well, it's an interesting shawl because it is so delicate. It makes you feel like you want to dress it up. But at the same time, I can also see you kind of wearing it with your you have these gray or green jeggings and you wear like black t-shirt, and that would look great with those.
Yes, it would.
So it could be dressed down as well.
Outfit ideas.
It could be dressed down as well a little bit,
Yeah.
It could be a little more.
Because it could be like the showcase piece. Instead of making the outfit formal, it could be like the nice highlight.
The thing that dresses up
It is fun. This is my favorite thing to work on. I keep saying that every podcast. It is so quick and easy with the, garter stitch is my jam. I am at the point where you turn. So at this point, the shawl is taking on a new shape. So there's this little corner here. So what it is it's like what is the triangle? What is that shape? It's
an isosceles.
I don't know my triangles. Anyway,
long bottom, skinny top.
Yeah. So it is starting to take that turn, and it is going to look pretty awesome.
Yes, that is going to be so pretty.
I'm going to have 9 million ends to weave in. I should be doing that as I go, but
have fun. Don't we love our projects?
So, and I can just do this to it and it's fine.
I think that's also a nice one because you can you're constantly seeing progress being made. Like every section you go, you're like, that's another one done.
Yes, and that is kind of how I've measured it. So far, for every podcast we've done, I've been able to do one whole section. So I think I'm on section 10 of 14, or no, section 10 of 16.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're booking it, girl.
Yeah, so far I've been able to keep up with one per podcast at least. So it'll probably be around for a while, but it is a lot of fun. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I have one new start.
Okay. I also have a new start, but I have one whip. I should probably show my whip.
Yeah, do your whip. Let's finish the whip section.
Okay.
We'll try and
so
be organized.
Kind of organized.
Oh, I love this so much.
All right. holding it upside down. All right, let's see. This is very beautiful. It's coming along very nicely. Oh, sorry. So this shawl is Ruth. It's by Kristina from Mourning Studio. This is a test knit I'm working on for her.
I just love how this
color.
This yarn speaks to me on
Let's
a level.
You need to watch Pandia's Jewels. I'm telling you, she dyes your style. I think you should watch it. And you could get this in DK. Like, it's not all fingering. I just buy fingering.
When I'm thinking of starting something else,
she also has worsted.
Relatively soon. And I think it's going to be something for your wedding. I'll probably do it like a really pretty doily or something.
Yeah.
Something laced for your wedding. But then I'm thinking about picking up one of the I Need It crochet tunics because they're so cute. And I would love a tunic in this. That would be so cute. Very pretty.
Yes. Very pretty. So this shawl is, it's a stockinette triangle shawl, and it ends with a lace section in a lace pattern called Old Shawl. I am in a bit of a conundrum because I was working on this and I've kind of like forgot that I was doing a test knit and I just kind of kept going. So, you know, it's just, I was having a good time working on it. And then I realized that I was supposed to stop when my yarn got to 40 plus.
You forgot to do the thing that the test knit's about.
The thing that the test knit's about, yeah. So when you get to a certain weight of yarn, you're supposed to, you know, I was counting my stitches and I did weigh a couple times and I knew I was getting close. So ultimately what happened is I have to go back a few rows in order to add in extra increases to meet the stitch count that I need to meet. Because it's more important to be right on the stitch count.
Gotcha.
So, at least I think. I haven't reached out and talked to Kristina about it. I was going to tell her. And I'll probably do that soon, but I just haven't had a chance with everything going on. But this has been such fun to work on. I love this color. It is really showing up nicely, like right here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And her pattern where it's teaching you to weigh it, I'm actually thinking of incorporating that, like actually weighing my yarn more often so that I can like maybe be smarter and not be in bad situations, even though I got in one with this.
But you're learning from this experience.
I am learning, and like I know. So like what it was is I measured and I weighed and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of close. I wonder if I can make it. I shouldn't have tried to make it. I should not have tried to make it.
I do that kind of shit all the time.
Because I was going to be under, what ended up having to get the stitch count that I needed to do like 6 to 10 more rows, which would have put me significantly under the weight of the yarn that would have been needed to do the lace and then to finish the shawl. So what she has written in the pattern is that you can actually go back rows and you can add in double increases so that you can get your stitch count. And it shouldn't affect the shaping too much. Is what I thought I understood from the pattern. I'm going to talk to her about that. Because I did that for the Love Note sweater to modify the sleeves. I mean, that's essentially at the end of the day what I did was you do an increase here, here, and here and here, like on a shoulder.
Right.
Like one before, whatever. I don't know how to explain it. People who knit sweaters will understand. And people who don't knit sweaters yet should learn from somebody that's not me.
Yeah, we're not teachers.
But the point is, when you do that, you do one here, an increase on this side, an increase on this side of the raglan.
Right.
And so what I did for my sleeve was I always did one here, and then I did 2 over here. So I'll be doing the same thing in the shawl.
Gotcha. As long as you're doing it consistently.
Yes. Because I just need to keep it even, you know, because it's a triangle. If I do it on one side, it's going to be lopsided and weird. You gotta, I won't get into unlesses. But that is the project, and it is going, and I'm really enjoying it. I love the yarn, and I've been keeping up with Kristina's podcast too. She's hilarious.
She is pretty great.
Have you seen her latest one? You should check it out. I don't mean to call you out on the spot. I just meant
I can't
you
remember.
should see her hair because you will love her hair.
Ah, well then I probably haven't seen it, so I will check it out.
You need to check out her hair. So anyway, that is that project, and then I have a new start. And you have a new
I have a new start as well. So mine's weird. Do you want me to go to mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I was just on Facebook at work the other day because whatever. And someone showed a picture of their work and they had these crochet project bags. And I was like, I didn't know. So I asked, like, where's that pattern? And oh, here's where I got the pattern from. And so I started one. I just grabbed a zipper that I already had and I got started here. So this is my start. So for this pattern, this is by, gotta look at my notes, +3 crochet, and it is there. It's just called Crochet Project Bag, and it's just how to put a zipper in a project bag as you go. Or in any kind of little, I'm just using this as a little notions bag, in any little bag as you go. And you need a special tool. You need a piercing crochet hook. So I had to buy mine on Amazon because I could not find it locally. But it is a incredibly sharp crochet hook. And a lot of people use them to do edgings on felt blankets for baby blankets.
Ooh.
But you can use it to just poke through anything. So using my tool, I measured a quarter of an inch across the top of my zipper. And then with crochet thread, I just used number 10 crochet thread I had that kind of matched the zipper. You pierce through and make yourself a border to start on.
Ooh.
I should have trimmed my tape so that I did not have my zipper tape, so I didn't have this.
Oh.
But I will just sew that shut. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And then I started, and I'll go until I get to the distance. I'm just doing a, because this is a test, this is yarn from Stash. This is Lion Brand's Cookie Monster yarn that I bought because I freaking love cookie. Hello, cat. I bet Sarah shut the door and she can't get upstairs. But I'll go until it's the size I want, and then I'll fold this up to meet the top of my zipper. She has ways to make it stand properly so that it has a nice fold instead of just being flat. And I'll have a little bag with a zipper on the top, and it'll be, and so this was my test because I just had a 5.5 inch zipper, so that's what I used. But I'm definitely going to give this a try with a much larger zipper. And I'm going to do some, now I've completely lost my mind and forgotten the word for it. Not Tunisian crochet. Don't you dare.
Charted.
Don't you dare. Hang on. We got a cat.
That is not for you, fat one.
Are you talking about the charts?
Yeah, where you, so I'm going to use your chart from your hat that you were doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that as a test to do some charted, a chart across the front of my bag. So it's just something I never have seen before. I've seen people do the edging on a blanket, but I've never seen people do it. A zipper's a little harder. You got to get through. I mean, they pierce through no problem, but zippers are made to not let a hole through, right? So then you've got to when you pull back out, you've got to get through all the little fibers that's making up a zipper tape. And I was like, fuck, but it's not that hard. So it's just a fun thing. I'm going to finish this one up. I think I've got another skein of this Cookie Monster, which is, it's looking like Arctic camo, which I kind of just think is fun. And
I really like it.
Yeah. So I'll just finish this up, and then I'm going to start on my big one.
And you're going to make yourself all the cross stitch
I'm going to
bags.
make myself, they're great for just generally storing some of these freaking I got projects in 17 different craft mediums, so it'll be nice to have some bags to store stuff in. Because right now this is in a makeup bag.
I didn't show any of my bags.
But then I also got to freaking figure out what I'm making for you. So I'm going to be starting some new stuff soon. So what do you
Well, we have a year, so you don't have to cram everything into April.
got? True story, but have you met me? I'm slow.
I don't know. You're like whipping out finishes left and right for all your cross stitch and stuff, so you're not that slow. So will you hold that for me?
I will hold this for you.
There's going to be a bit of crinkle, and I'm going to apologize for that. Sorry, guys.
Oh my god, that was crinkle.
I know, but I'm keeping it in plastic because I don't want it to get
Covered in dog hair. So you want me to show the picture here?
Yeah, so this is a new start. This is my wedding shawl, because who knew that when this girl got engaged, she would immediately be like, I'm getting myself a shawl for my wedding.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Absolutely.
So I started off by looking at some of the yarn I had in stash, and I've had this skein, and this skein has been very special.
Oh, so pretty. It's so pretty.
It is massive too.
And hold it closer so you can see the glitters in it.
So this is yarn by the Blue Brick Yarn Shop, and she has this amazing skill to hand paint gradient skeins. And I bought this as a treat for myself last year, and it is one of the fanciest pieces of yarn, skeins of yarn I have ever purchased.
It's beautiful.
This is I have the tag because I knew I wouldn't remember. I should.
More crinkles.
Sorry. Dropped everything. So this is the tag. It's the Blue Brick. And then the color is Storm Chaser.
Ah, makes sense.
And this is 800 yards, 80% merino, superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% stellina. And she names her yardages. So this is like the mammoth yardage cake.
Yeah.
So it is 800 yards of massive-ness.
But
So
it's so beautiful.
Ever since I bought this yarn, I've kind of been looking for something special to do with it. And I found a ton of different projects that I've saved since I bought it. But nothing ever felt right. Well, now I found something. So this pattern is called Wild Swan. This is a free pattern, so I can show you my printout here. And it is by Teasdale and Annalise Mygard, which I might not be saying her name correctly. But you see that
That is gorgeous.
beautiful lace, feathery, just gorgeous knitting. And I looked through all the projects on Ravelry, all the projects on Instagram, and I'm like, yes, this is the shawl. This is it. I really like it doesn't, so a lot of the lace shawls I kept finding were very geometric, and this one is a lot like almost paisley style.
Yeah,
like
it's much more, it's much softer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I really liked that element of it. So I'll show you my start, which I'm not very far. But it is amazing. Oh, the glitter in the yarn is causing and the cashmere shininess is causing such a reflection. But this is the very top. So this is the top of the shawl. It's knit top down. I'm holding it this way because it's just easier to show you guys.
That's so pretty.
I have put in some lace. It's got an I-cord edge, which is very nice, and will give it a sleek, elegant finish. And then I'm just starting to get into some of the upper lace section. So I'm not very far into the lace, and it just kind of looks like kind of like a holy mess, right? I mean, that's what lace looks like on the needles until you block it.
Yeah, it's what it looks like until you start to like get the shape together.
Yeah. But it is let me tell you about starting this. I started it, tore it out probably 8 times.
Oh.
I mean, a lot. Like so many I lost track. The start is not hard. You start with an I-cord. I think it's like an I-cord tab. So I've done a garter tab before. I've never started a shawl with an I-cord tab. I don't think. Maybe I did. You know, it's quite, because the Stephen West shawl I did earlier, that one had an I-cord border all around it. So I probably did do an I-cord tab on that one. But for this one, the first couple of times I was way too tight on that edging. So now I've loosened up, and it does have some, you can see it has some give, which should help when the lace kind of does its thing.
Yeah, as it starts to.
I hope that I'm giving it enough slack here. So we shall see. This is my first lace piece. I was going to knit this whole chart and then steam block this tiny section and kind of see like how I feel about it. Like, how is it looking? This is basically my gauge swatch.
That makes sense.
I didn't really like, I don't know. It just seemed like it made sense to start with this as a gauge swatch. Because as you know, you might get gauge in your little swatch, but then when you're actually knitting, something changes it.
Absolutely.
So I thought, I'll just go ahead and wing it, and I'll do the first chart, which is only 36 rows, not that much. And then I'm just going to steam block this and see, like, make sure it's got the give that it needs to have. But I'm very excited.
I think that is so gorgeous.
My wedding shawl.
And so this is the shawl that has the beading on it as well.
This has beading, yes. So
this is a very cool shawl to pick for your wedding. It's very special.
It is very special. It's I've never done a full lace shawl. I have done many shawls that have elements of lace, sections of lace, but I have never done a shawl this is entirely lace. And this shawl, there are not written directions. As I said, this pattern was free, so I can show you, like, its charts. The whole thing. It is just pages and pages of, and they get, I'll just pull this one out. They get kind of like, the yellow spots are beads. That's the spot you put beads in.
So just chart after chart after chart after chart.
Chart. And there are, this was done as a knit along probably a couple of years ago, I think in 2018. And because of that, there's enough projects that are made of, and there's helpful notes. There's a couple of helpful notes, like just on the Ravelry page about this pattern. She's updated the PDF to include some helpful hints and tips. So it is, and the designer, named Teasdale, she is like well known for being an awesome lace knitwear. Yeah. Or not knitwear, lace shawl pattern designer. There's enough
people out there that there's a group of people you can probably ask questions of.
Oh, yes.
And two, that have gone through, kind of found the pitfalls for you.
Hopefully. So yeah, it is, and I'm keeping it, this is the bag that it actually came in. There's my order slip with it. And I'm keeping it in this bag to try to reduce animal hair and potential, like, you know, I've never really had it happen with a shawl yet, but just in case, like staining.
Oh, yeah.
You know, something, because I did have it happen to a cross stitch project, so.
Yeah. I'm a snacker.
Sorry for all that crinkle.
I'm a snacker while I work. And, like, Sarah's, like, eating salt and vinegar chips. I'm like, give me some of those. And she's like, should you really be, like, eating a chip and then going back to your crochet? I'm like, no.
No, I shouldn't be, but I did.
Stop talking about me.
I mean, so listen, here's how I handle those situations. If I was working on your light colored yarn, probably not, nope, never. But if I'm working on, like, something dark, like the Birds of a Feather shawl, heck yeah. I mean, I may have had to dust Dorito dust out of it. I'm not gonna lie.
We're such slobs. I'm glad I have you to be with me in this.
So, yeah, I'm glad to be here. We're cute, I think.
I think we're cute. Yeah, we've made that decision.
So, I think I said everything I could say about that shawl. I'm very excited. I ordered beads. I actually ordered matte. I don't like shiny beads. So I ordered matte glass beads.
Ooh, what color?
Multicolored grays. Multi-shades of grays and whites.
Ooh, that's so pretty.
Really hoping. I ordered more than I need, because I think the whole shawl, 880 some beads is the smallest amount. And then like, oh, for the true diehards, 1,000 some beads. I'm gonna try the 800.
Yeah.
And you bead, so there's a couple different beading techniques. I've watched YouTube videos. I don't think
I'm
I've
glad you
ever
have a year to work on this.
I don't think I've ever beaded in. Oh, I did bead something. Actually, I did it in a car too, so I know I can do this. I did it in a car with a paper clip.
Madness.
So I knit a hat. It was called the Sparkling Cider hat, and I forget who the designer is, but that hat is fingering weight in mohair, and then you bead it with like it's little like I think it's little. It's just like little swirly curvy dooders, and there's a bead at the top of each one. Anyway, I beaded that with leftover decorations from my friend Lizzie's wedding. And I did that while in a car driving to Rhinebeck Yarn Festival. And I did it with a paper clip, I think.
Then you are ready for anything.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna get a fancy crochet hook to do the shawl though. I'm not gonna try to do it with a paper clip.
You're adorable.
Yeah. I improvise.
You are also incredibly talented.
Oh, thank you. You are sweet.
Way more than me, because I would need like a magnifying glass and a setup,
Well,
and I'd need silence.
It's not beads like what you use in cross stitch. It's obviously it's bigger beads.
Yeah, it's bigger beads than that. I still would be like so worried. Like to do a hat, I'd be like, no, we're moving to. Also, I'd be sick as a dog if we were moving.
Oh,
but
you're talking about in the car.
Yeah, in the car with like the hook and everything. I'd be like, they're gonna go everywhere. The dog's gonna eat them.
I had a setup. I can't even describe the setup, but I had a setup. I had a fail safe if I bumped the container of beads and it would have spilled in the car. I had a blanket draped so it would have caught everything.
You're so smart. You're so smart.
Jason he loves the air conditioner and he freezes me out all the time. So like all spring, all summer, and all fall, air conditioner blasting. And there I am like freezing to death.
Cuddled up in a blanket with two dogs, basically.
Yeah. So I always have a blanket in the car.
Makes
I have
sense.
a blanket car. Or a blanket or a car blanket.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've updated everybody on our craziness.
I think that's everything I've got to share for sure. Yeah. I don't have anything else.
We'll definitely have more stuff coming up because I'm going to start some things here soon. And hopefully have more progress to show you on all our fun projects we've got going on.
I'll let you guys know how the wedding shawl goes.
I mean, we'll be seeing regular progress for a year, I assume.
I assume. Some people knit that shawl in a month. I don't think I'm that good. I'm hoping for 4 months.
I cannot gauge time, cost. I can't gauge any of that.
I have no idea.
I just am, and some people oh, okay, this will take me roughly. I'm just like, I'm gonna go. My pace is weird and strange. Mm-hmm. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think it could be 4 months. I mean, I've knit enough shawls now that I kind of know.
Yeah.
Kind of know.
Yeah.
Just depends. But anyway, that's everything we have, guys.
Yep.
So,
we'll be back in 2 more weeks with updates and other fun stuff.
Yes, we will. Bye guys.